Hello everybody and welcome to William's Warhammer World. I know it's been a while since I made a video. This is, as most of you may know him from Daka, this is SudoJoe.
Hello.
He goes by Joe. Or SudoJoe.
Or both.
Or both. At the same time. SudoJoe.
No.
So anyway.
Perils of the Warp.
Today, it's a special video because I haven't made one in a while because I've been getting for my PT test. I'm also leaving Japan. So I wanted to get, me and Joe are going to make 2 videos before I leave, and hopefully keep in touch. Next week we want to do a Google Hangout. We'll let you know on what time that will be, and hopefully you guys will phone up and ask questions to one of the most popular and one of the most knowledgeable people in Warhammer that I know.
So it's a small world.
It is a small world when it comes to us Warhammer players. Alright, so I'm just going to ask SudoJoe a few questions, and we'll go from there. I'll give you a little overview of what we're going to talk about. Joe, his favorite army is, as you probably know, is the Grey Knights / Sisters of Battles. And so we're going to talk about that. And then he's getting also recently into Eldar, and I am a Eldar player. So we're going to spitball some Eldar ideas and Eldar lists that we think are viable, and he's going to spitball some Grey Knight lists that he's going to think are viable. It's going to probably be around 30 minutes. If you pause the video, get something to drink, come back, and enjoy the show. Alright, so you've been playing since 5th edition, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and what do you like about the recent changes to 6th edition?
Recent change to 6th edition I like. Psychic powers I actually quite like a lot. I've always been a big fan of psychic powers ever since we pretty much had them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that you could do a whole lot more with it now.
Yeah.
The psychic hood nerfs, the whole changes to the runes of like warding and things like that, has really expanded how much psychic powers are playing into everything nowadays. That's one of my parts I do like. Pre-measuring, it's got its pluses and minuses. It allows me to be a lot more tactical nowadays in terms of how I plan things. It's more like chess than before, where you had to basically have a guesstimate of how everything far was. So back in 5th edition, say if you're deep striking something, you pretty much had to know around what 12 inches look like on a map, and you just have to be able to tell that. It's actually paying off quite a lot in 6th edition, believe it or not.
Do you feel that that has taken away from the skill involved in the game, or do you think that added a new tactical skill aspect to the game?
To me, it feels like if you played 5th edition, you're actually better off in 6th edition because you could do a couple different things that even psych your opponent out instead of just pre-measuring everything. I could pre-measure a unit that I know that you're probably going to pay attention to because I'm pre-measuring it, so my opponent will look at what I'm doing. Or in the back of my mind, I've already pre-measured in my mind at a separate unit I was going to actually engage with. So that would actually throw off my opponent's game when he's trying to react to me on his turn.
Okay. So it's like Joe's psychotrope grenades. He's psyching you out with pre-measuring.
Pretty much.
Alright. With the recent change to 6th edition, what do you like most about it, besides psychic powers?
Psychic powers, what I dislike about it anyway is the random charge distances. That part I don't like. But other stuff I do like besides pre-measuring. I like the shooting. I've always been a big shooting fan, but I've always had a big soft spot for assault as well. And that part's not getting as much attention as I like.
I think in 6th edition it's really nerfed assaults, and especially with Overwatch, especially as you know, I play Eldar. 5-up armor save is not, and you're having small units because you're elite army. You're going to lose 102, and that can make a difference on whether or not you make the assault, which can be devastating, really. So I agree on that. But I also like the fact that random assault because it allows you to, fail assault. It gives the shooting armies somewhat of a chance to fight back. But fight back by as in Overwatch and to maybe negate that charge that may or may not be guaranteed. And with how fast vehicles move, like rhinos, for example, they can move 12 inches. That's halfway across the board, and the first turn. Well, no, it's 6 inches and then flat out.
No, it's 12 inches actually, plus a 6-inch flat out, so it's actually 18
inches.
18 inches first turn.
So 18 inches first turn, that's 3/4 of the way to my lines if I'm deployed on the 24 line.
Correct, but the assaulting out of vehicles is actually heavily nerfed, so that strategy doesn't really work.
Unless you're a Dark Eldar.
Unless you have open top vehicles, basically.
Yeah.
So it's basically, we're back to somewhat like 3rd edition now. Is now the land of skimmers are king for a while. Until we sort this whole mess out.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
As an Eldar player, I hope so. Alright, so what would be your favorite army being fluff rise and tactical
Fluff Eyes Tactical is probably the first army I started with. Grey Knights. I've always been a Grey Knights player.
AKA Demon Hunters.
Demon Hunters, and I wrote the giant blog thing on Demon Hunters, so pretty much know their tricks in and out, so that part I do like about them. There's a lot of variety. You could do all sorts of different builds. You could do Terminators, you could do MEQs, you could actually build a Guardsman equivalent, and just spam all sorts of stuff in there if you wanted to. But I think the tactical flexibility of the list lets you have some monster creature, lets you have a little bit of Terminators, lets you have a flyer, lets you have pretty much one of anything. And that part to me is their biggest asset. You can kind of tailor your list to be kind of a good all-comers list. But again, you're going to fall into problems if you try to just depend on one side or another, or you face a really heavy spam list on something you didn't quite encounter.
Which, speaking of which, you're getting a flyer, you actually get one of the more powerful flyers, and I think in the 40K universe, which is the Storm Raven. Do you think they should have gotten the Storm Raven or a different flyer tailored for them?
I think they should have gotten the Storm Raven. I personally really wish they would have had a Storm Talon as well, just to be like the other Marines, because everybody has a Storm Raven now. I mean, Storm Raven's good in some ways, but it's really expensive. Still better than the Storm Eagle, though, if you guys ever look at the
Forge
World rules. That thing is a lot more expensive and actually has a little bit less guns and just about as survivable as a Storm Raven.
But that also has a 20-person payload, and it's a fast attack instead of a heavy slot.
True, but then you're not going to ever really transport anything unless it's a 10-man Terminator unit, in which case you don't really want to risk it getting shot down by interceptor fire anyway.
Yeah.
So it's armor 12. You're going to see a lot of high-yield missile pods, 20 twin-linked, strength 7 shots coming at your face at any one interceptor turn if you're facing Tau nowadays. So it's actually gotten pretty bad. You're paying extra points for troop capacity that's rarely ever used nowadays.
It would be good. I think what they should do is you should be able to deep strike the Storm Eagle, and I mean, give it a special rule, and then I could see it being more somewhat viable. But then again, you still have the interceptor issue.
You're not going to get around the interceptor.
Yeah.
Vector Dancer is another thing I really wish we had some for the Imperial side. The only thing that has it right now is actually the Avenger Fighter, or I'm sorry, the Lightning Strike Fighter. If you play Forge World again, that's about the only thing that has a Vector Dancer. That actually lets you cheat a lot of the interceptor fire. What I mean by cheat is, if you imagine a table, interceptor fire somewhere, either backside, either corner. Most times people who play interceptors usually have them kind of spread out all over the place. Most interceptor fires tend to be Tau nowadays, and it's going to be somewhere between 48 and 36-inch range.
Unless you have the Ion, which is a entire fucking board.
Sure, but besides that one unit shooting at you with ballistic skill 3 interceptor fire, which is only going to hit you about once with a strength 7 hit out of 3 shots, well, maybe twice, and you're probably going to jink one of those if you had to. And usually it needs at least like a 4 to pen, or 4 to glance most AV-11 flyers that you take.
Yes.
So anyways, what you do is basically come on the extreme board edge, and if you have Vector Dancer, you basically point it away from the lines, so you actually stay completely away. And then you do your turn at the end of your movement phase to point towards whatever you actually want to shoot at. So this way you pretty much negate their ability to fire on you with Interceptor.
That's true. That's a good idea. That's a good thing. Now, speaking of flyers, are you a fan of flyers, or do you think they take away from the game?
No, I'm a big fan of flyers, actually. It's become this new tactical realm. I'm always wondering what they're going to do for 7th edition. We get ships or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. That'd be like Dystopia Wars.
Yeah, or submarines. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like flyers mostly because it adds a brand new dimension to the whole thing. It changes a lot of the dynamics, and it really changes the way we've been playing this game for a while.
Yeah.
Like the Necron flyer spam that we've all seen in the beginning of 6th edition.
We all love and hate.
We all love and hate, but that's come down quite a lot now. You don't see it as prevalent as it used to be on the tournament scene, for example. A lot more ground-based interceptor fire, a lot more ground-based sky fire, or just a lot more people just decided, I'm just going to take a bunch of strength 6 twin-link guns, I'm just going to glance the heck out of these things. So that's become a viable alternative.
Yeah, that's just what I've decided to do with my Eldar. We'll get to it later in the video. I'm just going to ignore the flyers because I'm going to take the hit, but then I'm going to try and shoot it down the next turn. I think that's what I'm going to do because I don't really have a lot of interceptors in the Eldar book. So.
Right. The way you negate the flyer advantage is basically either you have a horde and the flyers just can't dump enough firepower by turns 2 through 4 or 5 essentially. Most flyers on average, if you have a couple flyers here, are going to negate the first turn firepower. They're only going to have ability to shoot at units probably for 3 turns in a row, so you're actually not going to see that much power out of most of these things.
Speaking of flies, which is the biggest cheese one right now? And by cheese, I mean really overpowered.
Overpowered, I would have to... It depends if you're playing Forge Roll or not.
Well, we're playing regular. Let's
Okay.
say regular 40k.
Regular 40k, I would say probably Vendetta is the most undercosted anti-tank flyer. Most undercosted all-purpose flyer, I'd probably give it to the Helldrake.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it to the Helldrake for right now.
Well, there's still a flyer that can go hover mode, which is amazing. It has a bear fire flamer, and then it also has the Vector Strike.
Correct. Strength 7 ignores covers.
And so I agree that the Helldrake, I think, is one of the few things in the Chaos book that makes them competitive, besides Noise Marines.
Right, but it's become such a thing that it's actually changed the whole meta nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep saying meta, meta, meta. Before, back in 5th edition, Marines and Power Armor, that was sort of like the standard everyone can beat. Nowadays, that's actually come down a whole lot. Most people are going towards more big hordes of Guardsmen, more hordes of Termagants, hordes of Orcs, hordes of Guardians, hordes of whatever it is.
Guardian Spam, I think, is actually one of the viable options.
Right, just because the AP3 Flamer templates that's torn, it's basically tearing everybody up.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to get by.
It is. There's so much AP3 stuff nowadays that ignores cover. IG has a Colossus, Chaos Space Marine has a Veil Flamer, Vector Strikes all over the place by everybody else. Quite a lot. And of course, Tau has ignore cover everything. So.
Ignoring cover is I think the more and more books come out, the more and more we're going to see ignore cover, which is going to be going to hurt some of the other Eldar. Like for Dark Eldar, I need cover.
Yeah.
And for you to negate it, that's why people ask me why I bring Flicker Fields on my Dark Eldar. Because shit negate.
You pretty much have to.
Yeah, if you negate cover, so I need my 5/0.
Yep.
Okay. I got another few questions.
Sure.
When making a list, what do you mainly strive for?
I strive for balance. I believe in the take-all-comers list, which means I have a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So far, if you look at the last tournament themed run list, most of them tend to be a little bit of everything. The ones in California that we've seen over the last couple of months, like the Bay Area Open and things like that, a lot of those guys have fairly balanced lists. Even the Chaos Demons player, she had a lot of
Zeech
Demons,
Demons,
of course, but they're pretty good scoring troops. But it was fairly balanced. She had some monster creatures, just a little bit, a lot of troops kind of everywhere a little bit. She got a lot of heralds spread out all over the place, and comes screamers. So you had something to take on any particular thing. The reason for this is that if you play a spam list, you're going to run into the rock, paper, scissors scenario that we always see. Mm-hmm. So you have a Necron Air Force. Well, I'm going to take 4 Land Raiders like JY2 did in the recent local tournament he had.
Okay.
And you're not going to be able to punch through that. You have basically nothing that can hurt these Land Raiders.
Shout out to JY2 there.
Right. So you're going to see these rock, paper, scissors combinations, and in most tournaments, if you lose a game, you're pretty much out. So from a pure competitive tournament standpoint, you want a list that has a little bit of ability to kind of take on anything.
Honestly, if I saw 4 Land Raiders, there's nothing I could do. I could do. I mean, my lances would be able to take 1 or 2, but I don't know if I'll be able to take them all down by turn 3 or 2.
No, you don't have to necessarily. You just have to be able to either cripple or shut them down in some way. So it's actually entirely possible. If you forgot to take any lances, then you're in trouble.
If I'm not bringing lances as an Eldar player, I'm an idiot.
Pretty much. But yeah, you should get a little bit of everything, just so you can get yourself covered. And in terms of that, what are you looking for? You're looking for something to deal with AB14, not too much, preferably, because usually you don't see 4 Land Raiders, for example.
Okay.
You do need some anti-infantry. You need some anti-psychic powers, maybe, if you can get there, but a lot of people don't have that option. The only ones that have it right now are either NIDS, which you can't ally with anybody, or Space Wolves. Yeah. That's about it. So you kind of just have to deal with it as best you can. From a Grey Knight's perspective, just a couple tricks. I mean, all your basic troops can be getting a Denied the Witch on a 5-up. But you can also just put like little 1-man, 10 points, just a psyker inside of each squad of henchmen you use, for example.
It gives them a plus 1, right?
Right. Now you're a psychic squad, so all your henchmen squads are now able to deny the witch on a 5+ instead of a 6. So that kind of a little bit extra buffs here and there. The psychic Aegis from like Rifleman Dreadnought with the Twin Links autocannons and the Sideball ammo. That one's going to give you kind of a nice bonus for your Grey Knight squads. It won't help the henchmen, but it should help against other like malefic powers that come at you anyway.
Yeah. Alrighty. So me and Joe will recommend bring an all-common list and bring multiple units to deal with multiple threats. Joe's Necron list, he's been working with JY2. It's a Wraith blob with a lot of flyers, but it has an assault aspect, it has flyer aspect, and a shit ton of troops stuck into the flyers?
Yeah, the night sides.
The night sides. So it's a really solid list, but it's also a little run of everything, and it can deal with multiple aspects of an army.
Right.
So,
but it's not a flyer spam list. It only has basically 3 flyers that are just regular night sides. It's not a 7 flyer, 6 flyer, something like that.
It's not the Necron Air Force, but it's pretty powerful.
And mostly the flyers in that are just for mobility.
Mm-hmm.
They're just to keep the cheap scoring troops alive long enough to dump them on an objective. Because play for the objective. That's what we always do.
Yeah. Play. You don't play the table. You play to win. In my opinion. If you can table the opponent, then you can win. But against most tournament players, you won't be able to table them.
No, you're not. You could try, but you won't get there unless you get horribly lucky.
Oh, horrible! One of those hobbyists or a first-time tournament player.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah. So, we all hear of cheese, and we all hear of spam lists. What do you feel about the cheese spam list?
Cheese spam kind of depends. Again, like I said earlier, it's basically you're going to run to rock, paper, scissors. If you run all of something, even if you run like a super race star with all rates everywhere for Necrons, for example, 12 rates and 2 Destroyer Lords and some Annihilation Barges. Pretty strong list, actually. Most people would probably fall prey to that pretty easily. And what you do is, someone's just going to basically take a bunch of Strength 8 weapons scattered all over the place and probably barrage the heck out of them with either IG artillery or night spinners.
I even see Dark Eldar just being so fast to get away and poison them down.
Right, so you can do a lot of shenanigans. Or, heck, look at the mighty Wraith Lord, these guys. The D-Scythe, great example. AP2 Flamers, instant death, everything spread all over the place.
You do not want them. you don't want to charge them.
You do not want to charge these things.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of hard counters to things if you start going down that route.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about your Grey Knight list and what you think about. Not that I want everybody to know your list, but I don't think you'll be playing anybody anytime soon because you're still in Japan. But what do you think is the best, your best Grey Knight list?
So far, my Grey Knights list that I have the most fun with, anyway, not necessarily the best one, is probably, out of 1500 list, that's the last one we played with. I really like my kind of one of everything list. It had one Dread Knight with Incinerator and Teleporter, so it kind of gives me Strength 10, templates, anti-infantry, as monster creatures, so I can smash attack things, so I got my Strength 10 sort of stuff in there. It's got a psychic weapon, so I can fight other monster creatures fairly effectively. My backbone is actually an Imperial Bastion. I'm really liking the fortifications in this new 6th edition. And with the upcoming Apocalypse rules, we're looking at a lot more like the Punisher cannon craziness. So you can actually have a Bastion potentially with the Punisher cannon on top.
But do you think that's going to be viable in a regular 40k play?
No, they say they're going to have rules for 40k for regular games and Apocalypse in there. That's what the rumor was anyway.
Well, we need to hurry up and buy that book. It came out this week. So.
Right. So, anyways, more on that. More on that to come next time.
Yeah, next week we'll see.
All right. So, anyways, that one, the Bastion, is great with Sisters of Battle in there. Basically, put in 5 Retributors.
With the heavy bolters,
and they can get rending heavy bolters. Sister Superior mans the regular bolter, so she has precision shots and more heavy bolters. On top of the Bastion, I had Kotiaz. I had some henchmen with monkeys.
Just damn Jokeros.
Yeah, with the monkeys.
I hate Jokeros. I think they're the lamest, dumbest fluff thing in the world. I'm going to make a last cannon for my fecal metal.
Or multi-melter.
Oh, melter.
Or flaming fecal matter from my heavy flamer.
Yeah.
But anyways, those guys are there just to keep Kotiaz happy, and some plasma cannon servitors up there. Kotiaz gives the whole squad divination, which actually carries over into their interceptor phase 2 in case they do fire interceptor, since Kotiaz has Icarus last cannon up there as well. Yeah. So he can threaten the entire board pretty much anywhere.
And his ballistic skill's 5, right?
His ballistic skill's 4, but it's twin link, so your average to hit with ballistic skill 4 twin link is actually closer to around 89-90%.
Yeah, that's still pretty impressive.
Right, and also if anyone actually happens to deep strike next to this Bastion of Death, then they're gonna eat a whole bunch of, like, I've been expecting you, plasma cannon and everything else.
Yeah, which is a great rule for Kotias. I've been expecting you.
Yes.
That's actually funny because when I played my Dark Eldar, I have an Archon with Trueborn. I throw the Trueborn in the bottom and then my Archon top. It's a 2-up impulse save, dude. That both weapons, both skills 7. So I'm hitting almost 100% of the time with an accurate blast cannon. So it's a pretty. If you guys, yeah, I know Dark Eldar needs to be fast. You put that thing in a. It's pretty hard to go by. Yeah. But anyway, go back to your list.
All right. So, anyways, the list is a little bit light on troops, but I basically have a Grey Knight squad sitting around for Warpquake just to prevent any sort of other shenanigans that may pop up, including like the random mall walk that may come up from a Tyrannus player.
Mm-hmm.
Could be preventing other drop pods from coming in even close enough to try to melty the Bastion, and basically have a little bit of force weapon protection in the side cannon just to sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just mostly there to capture objectives.
Okay.
Forward scouting unit, I have Battle Sister squad basically moving up at the Meltas, and hopefully they'll be able to capture an objective or force the hand of something. And I have a flyer with the Storm Raven, and basically that just flies around as my anti-tank. So it's basically got a little bit of everything. Oh, and one Cyphelman Dreadnought to help give the Grey Knight squad a little bit additional protection and a little bit of strength 8 shooting to help double out any sort of rates and stuff.
It's also great for taking out flyers too. So many shots, you're bound to get a 6.
Yeah, it's basically if any twin link weapon. If you look at the math, is actually about a 33% chance of getting a 6 if you shoot Snapfire 1 twin link.
Yeah. So
you're about 30% chance of getting a 6.
33.3 repeating, of course.
Something like that.
Okay, yeah. So that's a pretty solid list.
It's just a little light on troops. That's my only drawback to it. So for some missions, I have a little bit of bonus because I do have about 3 heavy support choices. For big guns, I'll be doing decently.
Mm-hmm.
For the relic, I do have some units that could get up close or at least deny the enemy. But that one's not that favorable for this list. I don't have any outflanking troops or anything like that, which really would be useful, like infiltrators and stuff like that. I wish I had that. But it's got a little bit of everything. It's got some stuff to handle monstrous creatures, some stuff for anti-tank, some stuff for anti-infantry. It's got a little bit of everything, but nothing repeated or
not a spam list.
Basically, not a spam list, but really fun to play. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So going on, let's go ahead and talk about Eldar.
Sure.
And yeah, that's he actually won our latest tournament. We had about 9 players show up, or what, 9, 6?
Yeah, something like that.
Show up, and he actually won. And me and him we had played at the final table, and didn't go well for me and my Eldar. But
right, Kotias can steal the initiative twice.
Yeah,
potentially.
He stole my initiative, and it sucked, and it cost me the game. Not used to people being able to steal initiative that effectively. It's still no Vec, because you all know Vec can steal on 4+, but it's pretty damn close.
It's actually pretty close, because Vec is 4+, you're about 50%, I'm about 30% chance of stealing.
So it's pretty damn close.
Pretty close. And against Eldar, you really want to steal the initiative a lot of times, because if they have skimmers, they're not going to get to Jink if you shoot first. They're not going to get their fortune or whatever psychic powers they have to buff, like conceal or something like that. You want to try to deny that to them as much as you can. So going first against Eldar has a lot of benefits. However, if you're going first, do have to know a lot of Eldar shenanigans. You're going to have a bunch of jet bikes zoom up turn 5 or 6 and capture your objective, and there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, exactly true.
Yeah.
All right, so me and Joe are actually pretty big fans of the Wraith Guard and Wraith Lord.
Wraith Knight.
Where is my Wraith Knight?
Wraith Knight sitting, taking a dirt nap over there.
Yeah. Well, actually, this one's broken. I'll show you my Wraith Knight later. I've been painting up the new one. I actually have 2. I have one loadout Joe's not a fan of. It's a Ghost Glaive with a Shimmer Shield with 2 Star Cannons. So it's 300 points, but you can pretty much take care of anything. You can get anti-elite infantry, can squash hordes because hordes can't hurt it. Because it's toughness 8. How many hordes can take out toughness 8 combat?
The problem is, though, you're not going to try to take it out. I would just tar pit it with a bunch of cheap tac marines that'll last good 4 or 5, maybe 3 turns basically.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Or a bunch of termagants that just sit there.
Are fearless.
I'm fearless.
Yeah.
Great, kill all 20 of us. Good luck.
Found out the hard way. I was playing against a Marine player, and I charged it with my Wraith Knight. I'm like, I'm gonna murder these guys. Fear no pain. I mean, not fear.
No, and they shall know no fear.
And they should know no fear. Holy crap! I beat them every round. They lost, broke, chased them, got locked in combat. This happened for 3 rounds until I finally wiped out all 10. But 3 rounds of taking out your shooting is pretty. Taking out a big 290 point model. I think that's the loadout out. It's 290. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a lot of points to not do anything for 3 turns. Compared to attack marines.
You think he spent like 120? No, it's 190 points of attack marines.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it would have been a good idea, but I'm learning with the new Wraith Knight. So, Joe's actually, and I'm actually becoming more of a fan of the dual Wraith cannons. Strength 10, AP 1, distort. Jesus, what do you gotta say about that?
2 shots too, way better than a hammerhead.
Yeah, and you get a Spirit Seer. You right next to him. You get to reroll 1, so you're only missing on 2. So pretty much you're guaranteed taking out vehicle, bastions, whatever you want to shoot at with that thing.
And the range, it's impressive. It's 36-inch range.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, plus you can assault with it afterwards, which is actually a big leg up from the hammerhead, for example.
Or the speaking of the Wraith Knight, how do you think it stacks up against the other monsters creatures? Now I know before I asked you, it does not stack well against the Dread Knight. I found out the hard way. We had a game recently. I totally forgot that they had a force weapon. So I charged in, did like 2 to 3 wounds.
2 wounds.
2 wounds. He came back, killed me, 1 instant death me. I was like, awesome. So, beware. Do not charge your Wraith Knight into anything with force weapons. It will not end well.
Right, but in case of the Wraith Knight, we're looking at a lot more stuff. If you guys look at Forge World, though, I wouldn't put too much faith in a whole bunch of monster creatures in the future, because if you look at the Armor Company list, for example, from Forge World, it's good for regular 40k games, and it's got stuff in there like the Beast Hunter shells, for example. Those are 72-inch range, shooting out of a Vanquisher cannon. You can stick Pask in there, Ballistic Field 4, all that shenanigans. And this thing is basically got Strength 8, AP 2, like instant death. So you're going to be wiping stuff away, like Dread Knights, Riptides, what have you. It's a 3-inch blast template, so you're not going to drift off very far. You're probably going to kill somebody pretty good.
So the trick is to take that out first.
Take that out first if you can, but it's a 72-inch gun, and you're not going to be able to outrange it very easally.
That is true, very true.
Yeah, so you're basically looking at, and it's also AV-14, so you're not really going to pen it very easily either.
12 for me. Come on now.
Alright, fine, 12. But against other monstrous creatures, versus a Dread Knight, I actually think it's stronger than a Dread Knight. Dread Knight you could actually force down with Strength 4 bolters, essentially. You can hose it down enough, get enough 6s, and you can kill it.
Okay. As you found out when it was killed by cultists.
Right, that was a terrible shame. But other stuff, it's immune to small arms fire, it's great. You can get a tow inside of area terrain, you get a 5-up cover, 4-up cover with ruins. You can do pretty good smash attacks against it, so a lot of people like Necrons, you can get some spiders, they can smash attack, they're 50-point monster creatures, pretty decent for assaults like that. So you can kind of do monster match lists pretty easily.
Yeah.
Compared to those guys, Wraith Knight's still far ahead because of toughness 8. A lot of stuff that has a lot of hard time killing toughness 8. I mean, Las Cannon shooting at this thing from the last game we had in tournament, I was bouncing off Las Cannons like half the time because I just couldn't get a 3 or higher.
And then you have a 5-up invul if you bring the Shimmer Shield.
Right.
But that's the thing with the Wraith list I'm running. I'm more of a fluff player, if you guys notice. I'm running an Illidan themed list, and I'm running a lot of you can get one real fast. These guys, they're the D-Sites Wraith Guard. High toughness, very high toughness. Look at this. Oh, let me just show this guy. I got this from a Thailandese find. This thing is just fucking gorgeous. I mean, it makes me wet. Just look at the detail of that. And we'll go to Farseers in a second. But people are complaining. They're like, Wraith Guard are overpowered. They're toughness 6, armor 3. But what does Wraith Guard have that no other unit has? What do Wraith Guard lack?
Numbers.
They lack numbers, and they also lack invulnerability saves.
And range.
So you have to get close to plasma guns. And I got taken out. I lost maybe 4 in one round of shooting from a platoon of guardsmen. I mean, 4. It sucks. But you don't get a save. It's AP 2, strength 7. You're wounding on 3s, rapid fire. You're going to lose your Wraith Guard. It's so all those criers and haters, get over yourself.
Not to mention, I got Tau Riptides, large blast, AP2.
Yeah.
Ignores your cover too, just in case you had any.
Yeah, which I probably won't. But yeah. So speaking on the new Eldar list, me and Joe were talking about the new psychic powers and which would we rather bring on, and I think we decided telepathy is the way to go, right?
No, divination is still the way to go. It kind of depends on your army, though. Divination is probably the way to go. It's basically considered like a force multiplier. It's going to make things better in general. Mm-hmm. Like if you had like a squad of Dark Reapers, for example, strength 5, AP3, 2 shots each. And now you twin link that. Now you're almost hitting with all the shots. So it's actually much more effective that way. Especially
you can give the XR Dark Reaper Interceptor, which is pretty awesome.
All right. The same goes for like Tau allies. Tau and Eldar together have been a pretty good combination because Tau, even though they're ballistic skill 3, twin linking them actually makes them hit pretty close to around 80-something %. So you're actually going to.
So this is like ballistic skill 5.
Yeah, it's almost like it. Yeah, so you're going to hit most times. Same thing with Kotias and the Space Monkeys. They actually hit pretty frequently because they're almost always divination.
Yeah.
So that part is really good force multiplier. Say if you're playing NIDS or something and you don't have divination, or if you have a lot of cheap psychers spammed all over the place, telepathy is a great thing to have, especially if your opponent has stuff like Riptides, has stuff like a lot of Lehman Russ company squadrons.
You want divination or
no? You want telepathy. Actually.
Yeah, for the yeah.
All right, because telekinesis is one of the Force Dome and observation mechanism. Mm-hmm. But telepathy, that one has Puppet Master, that one has Terrify, that one has invisibility.
Right? Yeah.
That one's also got the hallucinations, which are great if you ever get off on something like a Wraith Knight, for example.
Yeah, that's
you can make him punch itself. You can even make him shoot his whatever you got at all their other tanks. You can Puppet Master like Eldar Wave Serpent and have him shoot off his shield, so now it's ineffective and it has no Wave Serpent shield.
That's true.
So you can do a lot of stuff with that thing.
Yeah, especially you can give him you can choose between the psychic the domains, which is a lot of people are griping about the Eldar domain because Prescience is actually better than God now, and Prescience you can do I'm taking 1 point from what was it, divination, boom, you didn't get your prescience, and then you roll on telepathy, and then you get a Eldar that buffs your squads, and then you have a chance to get invisibility and the other good telepathy things, which is I think I'm going to try and do and see how that goes. Especially
since you can do a Wraith Seer list. So all those guys, you can actually have quite a lot for the new Illidan list in case you guys haven't seen it, but you can actually have quite a few Wraith Seers, and they can all take telepathy, so you're almost guaranteed to get something useful.
Yeah. You can have up to 5 Wraith Seers per HQ slot, so if you want it, you can have 10 Wraith Seers, 70 points. So that's 700 points, but
you're going to be able to control somebody.
Yeah. If you want to, you can do it with the new Eldar Codex supplement. But pretty interesting.
Some other armies that could do this, and demons could do this. Nids with a lot of zone tropes, which I actually want to try next, is going to be able to do this also. Okay. I'm not sure you're going to get enough Marines to be able to do this, unfortunately. Maybe if they don't change the next Space Wolf Codex, we'll see how many Rune Priests you could take to potentially get something useful out of divination or otherwise, I suppose.
I still think...
Jaws?
Yeah. That for a race, for a chapter that is known to hate Psychers, for it to have the best anti-psychic defense, that makes sense. But to have the best psychic powers in the game is ridiculous. I remember I was playing against a Necron player, really great player. Drop pod in, popped out 2 Rune Priests, because you can have up to 4, because of their War Heroes of the Saga, whatever the stupid rule is. And I did a line, and I killed I killed 3 Wraiths and both his Destroyer Lords.
Yep.
One go.
Also great against Riptides.
Yep. No saves allowed. Just die. So anything low initiative, it's ridiculous. It's but then again, against some it's like you said, we were saying rock paper scissors, but still, you still have that chance to fill that initiative. So it's and there's no way to stop it. We were saying we were both actually kind of upset with but you're kind of happy because you normally played against Eldar. I was unhappy with the nerf to Runes of Warding because there's no way to stop sci-fi powers now.
Except NIDS.
Except for NIDS. But as an Eldar player, there's no way to stop it. You can't stop. I was playing against a guy, and he had
Which one?
Flying Pyromancy. He had Iron Arm.
Okay, yeah.
And I couldn't stop Iron Arm. And an Iron Arm flying Demon Prince with the Black Mace is ridiculously hard to kill. I mean, it's like he can't stop his buffing, and he was getting like +3 toughness, and he's a 2-up armor save or 3-up armor save. It's tough, man. It's one of the better, Bryce.
Yeah, I remember.
It's one of the better builds I've seen him do.
And he forgot he had Fleshbane on that thing too. He would have wiped even more stuff out.
God, it was a pain in the ass. But what do you think about the new Guardians?
New Guardians are pretty good. I like them so far. You can take quite a lot of them. They're actually pretty decent on foot, I find out. You could get a Wave Serpent for them, but they're pretty decent on foot because they have platforms and stuff you can take advantage of.
And the platforms suffer from, they benefit, not suffer, from, what's it called? Battle Focus.
Yeah, you can battle focus the whole thing all over the place.
So, what I've been doing with my list, my Eldar list, is I have 2 units of Guardians, 10, with an Avatar next to them with 2 Bright Lances. I know you guys are like, why would you bring the Avatar? It gives them fucking fearless. So, you have to get through every single Guardian in order to get rid of those Bright Lances. So
yeah, you don't necessarily have to use an Avatar though. You could put a Warlock in there and give him the Fortitude power or something like that.
True.
To get lucky.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have it cast from the same squad either.
But I find the Avatar is a pretty good soaker of firepower too. So they're like, should I go for the Avatar or should I go for the Guardians? So it's like, plus the Avatar has, what's it called? We just said it.
What, Fleet? Battle Focus?
Battle Focus too. Yeah. So it's a pretty amount of power, a lot of firepower coming at you. Plus you give the Avatar fast shot with a Melta that he hits on 2s, and if he misses, he hits on 4s. Because his ballistic skill's 10. So the Avatar's ballistic skill's 10, weapon skill 10. So, holy shit, you're going to be hitting with your Melta, especially with fast shot twice, the Wailing Doom, so...
Yeah, the only problem is range. That's the biggest downfall for him.
Yeah. But my theory is, and I'm having a lot of threats, so you have to, like, what threat do you go for? Do you go for the 2 Wraith Knights, or do you go for the 2 Wraith Guard and Wraith Serpents with D cannons, or D sights? So it's like, what do you go through? That's my strategy. And my list right now doesn't have flyers. I like Eldar flyers. It's just that I think right now they're too damn fragile, especially with normally flyers people want. If you're running a flyer list, you want to go turn 2. That way you can shoot first with your flyers, right?
Yeah.
Normally, but with all the interceptor, AV-10, most interceptor weapons are Strength 7?
Yeah. A lot of it is anyway.
Yeah. The last 4 games I played, when my flyer came on, it was dead on my turn. So that kind of deterred me from bringing my flyer from now on, my Crimson Hunter or Hemlick, because it's just, to me, a waste of points. I bring it in and get intercepted down. So I'm just going to go with the tough creatures, and a lot of threats. So
yeah, that dual Wraith Knight and D-Scythe Wraith Lords guys, I mean, that's a pretty strong list actually. Because the Wraith Serpents in this edition are just amazing. Those things are hard as heck to kill.
Yeah, the combo me and Joe were talking about is fucking don't need Bright Lances, you don't need Stargate Cannons, give them motherfuckers scatter lasers and they get target lock, and you get
Laser lock.
Target lock, what is that?
That's PAL.
Whoops. If you get laser lock, give every weapon on that thing twin link, and that works for the energy shield. Now normally you don't use the energy shield, but if you're in a crunch, you laser lock with your twin link with your scout lasers. You shoot out a flyer, D6 straight 7 shots, twin linked, and then you have your shrinking cannon with the strength 6 AP. I think it's 5 or 4. Yeah. But
Rending.
3 shots. Rending. Yeah.
Pseudo-rending.
Pseudo-rending. Yeah. But don't work on vehicles. But yeah, that's I think we agreed is probably the most powerful wave serpent build.
Yes, it is. And those things are amazingly hard to kill.
Especially if you give those turds hollow fields. It's a 50-point upgrade.
15.
50. That's what I said.
You said 50.
I have a speech impediment, guys.
Okay.
So
15-point upgrade.
15-point upgrade.
Makes that thing amazing.
Plus 1 cover save, and that's good because you know what you're saying. You don't move. If you lose the first turn, you don't move. Hey, you put it behind a ruin, you still get a 3-up cover save. Or if you put it somewhere behind a mountain, it's a 4-up cover save. So now I was looking at a real rulebook.
Yeah.
When you move flat out, do you still get a 4-up cover save?
Yeah, you get a 4-up jinx save, and that busts it to 3-up.
So, and I wanted to try this, but I think it's a point sink. But I think it can be amazing. It put crystal targeting matrix and hollow fields on the fire prism, so you can flat out and still fire it, and you have a 3-up cover save.
For the fire prism, I don't see as much benefit because you already got 60-inch guns. There's going to be very few times you're going to need to do that. What's going to be great on it, though, with the crystal targeting matrix is actually the night spinner, because that thing's got a limited range with the template torrent. You can actually get into range of the torrent and just basically torrent things down.
So okay, so because it's a small range.
Right, so it's a shorter range, so you actually can take advantage of that at the best. That's probably what the crystal target matrix is actually built for, is my opinion.
Yeah, Joe is he loves warp spiders and he loves the web spinners. So you want to go ahead and talk about why you love those so much?
Oh, just because it's so much Eldar
trickery.
Speed. Yeah, trickery. So basically, warp spiders are great just because they have such massive movement, and you can kind of control where they goes. So you get your warp gate jump, usually do pretty decently. You can average at least about 9 inches, give or take, on average dice. Sometimes you could get completely messed up, go 3 inches. Sometimes you go 18 inches. So kind of random what you get, but you can do pretty decently. Then you get to do a battle focus fleet move, so you're going to average around 4 inches there. So you're looking at another 13-inch movement, give or take. Mm-hmm. Then you get your 2d6 assault move because they're jetpack infantry.
The warp jump, yeah.
Right? Or no, that's the warp jump is the movement phase.
Yeah, because they're jetpack.
Right,
yeah.
because they're jetpack infantry. So now you get another 2d6 movement. So you're gonna get another probably on average 2d6. You're gonna get about 7. So you're looking at some unit that basically can shoot and move across the board basically in one turn, good 19 inches or something like that.
Ridiculously fast.
Ridiculously fast. Which another thing I really like is one of the Eldar, whatchamacallit, those remnants of glory things.
I just deleted.
Yeah, right. The Faltru wing thing is actually pretty neat. Because
oh yeah, that thing, you move so damn fast.
Yeah, you can basically move 6 inches with the Farseer, which has been camping in the back, in my case, with usually the broadsides or whatever for my Tal Eldar list. And last turn, if I want Line Breaker, I basically go like, well, she's going to run 48 inches after moving 6, so I can move across the entire board and have a rerollable cover save wherever it is I actually end up.
Yeah, so you contest objectives at the end of the game.
Contest objectives, get Line Breaker, so it's almost automatically like a game swinger for 2 points, essentially.
So what do you think about the Eldar not being able to get assault vehicles still?
Don't matter. It's too much shooting. They don't need it. Yeah. Wave Serpent's already overpowered as it is.
Wave Serpent is pretty good.
Yeah, Marines don't have anything to compare with that right now. And that's the thing, actually. I'm kind of curious what the Marines are going to get. They're going to be really hurting this next update.
I don't know, man. Rhinos are pretty tough. I mean,
really,
they're not as powerful as a Wave Serpent. Nor should they. I mean, every army should have its own thing.
Yeah.
But look at the point cost, guys. Wave Serpent's 115 base, right?
After upgrades, it's usually going to be around 135 average.
Yeah. Without you want to upgrade, it's 5 points for the scatter laser, and then if you give it the hollow field, it's
15.
Yeah, so 120, so 135 points.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of It's very expensive. As Rhino, 35 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hello, man, 35 points. I'll take that. Or you get a Razorback, which is what, 65 points?
No, 45 points.
45 points?
Well, it depends. If the Grey Knight one's 50 points, if I put sidebolt ammo in there.
Okay. But still,
Yeah.
that's a lot cheaper. Now the survivability is not there, we can all agree. But if you have a lot of them...
Yeah, it's basically going to force Marines into spamming a lot of guys in Razorbacks if you aren't going to go that way. But you're not going to be able to outdo a Chimera Wall, for example, though.
You don't have to if you drop pod in.
Right, so you're going to basically have... Again, for Marine players down the road, sounds like we're going to have to do some sort of mixed bag of stuff to really compete with all these craziness.
With the new vehicles. It's
Yeah.
probably going to be a combined arms of Rhinos and drop pods, it seems like.
Rhinos, drop pods, probably Razorbacks, actually. It's my guess. And very small squads of lots of different Marines.
Plus, Storm Talons are amazing. If you guys haven't tried them, they're awesome because they have the 360 turret. So, see, the 6 Sulks. The Sulk Cannon that can shoot behind it. Pretty impressive.
Yes,
Take
it
out
is.
vehicles pretty easily because most vehicles are what, strength AV10, right?
AV-10 in the rear.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and also if you get Contemptor Dreadnoughts, Mortis Pattern Contemptor Dreadnoughts, that's going to be the way to go, folks. Get Forge World.
Forge World. If you and your groups allow you to play Forge World, go cheese, get Contemptor Dreadnoughts.
Oh, just get Forge World anyway. It's so much more fun.
It is fun. It adds a new dynamic to the game. Now, you know me. What was the list I played before 6th birthday by Eldar, right?
Yeah.
I ran Dire Avengers. I love Dire Avengers and the old 5th edition codex. Or 4th edition, rather. But, you know what I mean. But Dire Avengers, how do you feel about them?
I actually run Dire Avengers in my Tau Eldar list because...
Only 2 camp objectives.
contest objectives, and also it's cheaper than 10 Guardians in a Wave Serpent. Because I'm mostly getting it for the Wave Serpent, actually.
Okay.
It's basically there to get the ability to buy a Wave Serpent and have some guys pop out to get objectives. That's basically their role in my games. And I remember several games, even back in 5th edition, where we just had that one squad of Guardians, or one squad of 5-man Dire Avengers. They captured so many objectives in the last games.
We were playing an Apocalypse game. We had tie-ins, shit, everything, and his reserves, they popped up, stole objective, won them the game. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, they stayed off the board the entire time. They couldn't get them to come in until the end of the game.
And when they came in, they did their job. That's happened once or twice. It happened like a few times where they came in and did that. Eldar shenanigans. We show up exactly when we want to for the win. As for me though, I was a big proponent of the Blazestorm effect, and if you guys don't know, Blazestorm has changed significantly to where if you roll a 6 to wound, it's an AP2. Counts as AP2 wounding. So it's like mini rend, but you don't get the +3 against vehicles. And so it's good, it's fun, but I don't think it really hurt Dire Avengers and me as a Dire Avenger player. And I didn't do it because for spam. I did it because I like Assyrian. I love the lore of Assyrian. Actually, my Eldar and Dark Eldar lists together, they're merged together to look at an Assyrian kind of theme. That's why I'm going more of Illidan, because Illidan is Assyrian's chosen, if you didn't know that. So
I just go Uthway because it looks like the colors.
Uthway does look awesome.
I love the colors.
Yeah, and plus Eldra's from there, so they have the most powerful Psychers.
More Psychers!
Can't go on Psychers. Zero Counselor from Hell! Which actually, I think the new supplement will be Elfway. And they're going to introduce more psychic abilities.
Excellent.
You're probably going to be able to run a Farseer.
Excellent.
In my opinion, I think you're going to be able to run 5 Farseers into a Farseer Council instead of having a Warlocks. It'll be just 5 Farseers.
That'll be so incredibly overpowered.
I don't know about overpowered, but it'd be fucking fun. It would be fun.
For our rerollable invols, let's go!
Unstoppable, yeah. But it's only 1 unit, fuck.
Flesh paint everything, don't matter. I'll just telekinesis, I'll control your units and make them do stuff.
That would be, that's what I'm saying. It would be expensive. I mean, Farseers are 100 points apiece. But
yeah, but they got the mobility with jet bikes, because you can't take jet bikes with Spirit Seers.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, that's true. But Dire Avengers,
18-inch range. That's 18-inch range. That's what sets them apart from Guardians, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they also have counterattack, which
That was never actually come up.
really never really comes up, but if it does, it's pretty good. And they give a 5-up invul save. So with the I always run it with the Avengers
Exarch?
Yeah, well, you got well, if you do run a Dire Evangelist, you should run Exarch.
Sure.
But I give them Power Sword and the Shimmer Shield for a 5-up invul, so it's a 4 armor save and a 5-up invul save. So like many Terminators, I mean, they got a 5-up invul that's not bad per se.
But 12-inch guns versus 18-inch guns makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened to my Oryx, actually, because they basically went all shooter boys.
Yeah.
And that 18 inches has paid off way more times than I could count.
Yeah, shooting close combat orcs is not as effective as is more effective than close combat orcs.
Right. Well, we'll have to see what this next supplement does for orcs, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And what do you think about the Phoenix Lords? Do you think any worth taking now?
Not really, as far as I can tell. I haven't really played with the Phoenix Lords all that much. Moving Rod, I like the guy, I just don't think he can actually roll over Tyranid planets like he does in the fluff. Yeah, it just won't happen. Yeah. Jindar, maybe, kind of has some interesting rules. I kind of like the way she does a lot of close combat AP2s and stuff like that, so that's actually pretty useful. You know Ashman better than I do, so you talking about that.
Oh man, Asman, the king of the Phoenix Lords. This guy I like. If he was cheaper, I would use him more. I think if we tournaments, I think are going more to 1850 to get more into the games. So when we start seeing that more and more happening, I would probably start running him more. Not in my Illidan list, but for my fun list. Because he gets to roll on the. He has one. He's what's it called?
What?
You can't die.
Eternal Warrior.
He has Eternal Warrior. He has a 4-up armor save, invul save, a 2-up armor save. He has the ability to roll on 3 of the psychic power, 3 of the Warlord traits. So you have a pretty good chance of getting the Warlord trait for reroll 1s. So you get to reroll a 1, and he's a 2-up armor save. So he's hard as shit to kill. I really like Asman. Balharath, here he is, his model at least. No, that's a regular Supernhawk.
Yeah, bring him over anyway.
Well, here's an old Supernhawk model. I don't know where the Balharath is. Kind of surprising to me is that there's no X-Star for Shining Spears.
No.
I mean, they're a fucking, they're an aspect, but they don't have a Phoenix Lord, which confusing to me. I don't think Karandras is worth his points, he's fun. He's a playable character, but I don't think he's worth it. I think in tournament play, the only 3 viable Phoenix Lords, if the points go up, will be Fugan, because he's a beast. He's literally a monster creature with a fire pike. Magman Raw, just because his guns is amazing, and
maybe
Asman.
Yeah.
Asman.
Yeah.
Jane Zar, toughness 3. I mean, her strength is not up there, I don't think, and she can't cause instant death. Whereas Asman can. He's strength 5, AP2, can cause instant death with Dire Sword. So it's pretty up there. What do you think about Fire Dragons?
Fire Dragons has its uses. I mean, more Wave Serpents.
Yeah, I actually have a unit of 6 Fire Dragons I've never used. I used it once. They did their job. They melted down a squad of. They actually did pretty well. I think I might run, but with my theme list right now, I'm not really using it.
Dark Reapers, though, pretty darn good all around.
Yeah, Warwalkers. I love these things. These things are amazing, and I hate GW for doing it because they're so good, but they're 50 points for 1. I mean, not 50 points, $50. I think they are 50 points for 1. But anyway,
they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap. 30 points I made. But anyway, they're ridiculously good. You can give them Skyfire.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, let me get the code.
No, they just get twin linked a whole bunch of stuff. I thought.
No.
Anyway, while he's doing that, Dark Reapers plus a Tallow Commander with multi-spectrum sensor suite and Pure Tide neural chip. That thing is amazing. 10 counters on all these guns. Just pretty much destroy whatever heck you want. So really awesome guns. I like those guys. And you get a Warlock, you give him Conceal, or if you use Spirit Seeker, you can do that too for your Mentor HQ choice. So kind of interesting things. And put them in a Ruins. Now, they can pretty much get twin linked, ignore cover, a 2-up cover save, and strength 8 all over the place. So it's gonna pretty much wreck house. Other fun combos. That's mainly the ones. Farseer with a bunch of broadsides also do really well. I give them Interceptor, and they're twin links from Divination or Guide from the previous turn. It's a blessing, so stay through my opponent's turn, so all the drones in there would all get twin linking, and everything Snapfire or whatever comes in. So it's a 36-inch death bubble. Whatever wants to come in that is pretty much going to get shot up by enough strength 7 to make it not want to be there, including flyers. So pretty significant all around. Alright, got the book. What do you got?
Yeah, Warwalker Squadron. Given the elemental that they can take flak missiles.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay. Only for that gun, though, not all the weapons.
You can bring 2.
Alright. Double flak missiles.
Double flak missiles. And, yeah, but they also come with the Plasma and Star Shard. Just because it may also, so it doesn't say
but
replace.
It's a 35-point upgrade, then.
25.
Oh, yeah, 25.
The 25, yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the, I mean, I don't have flyers in my list, so...
Just more twin link strength 6 shooting. They should bring it down. Just fine.
Oh, Warwalkers, man. Look at the missile launcher. The EDL, or LR missile launcher, is, or EML, whatever you want to call it, is amazing now, as it was back in the other, yeah, man, it's strength 7, AP4.
You ain't gonna get one shot, though.
Skyfire.
Yeah, you're gonna average about the same with enough scatter lasers, and they're gonna be good against all targets, the cheaper.
Yeah, but you can also give them Plasma with strength 4, AP4, or you can give them the Star Shot with strength 8, AP3. And those are pinning one's blast. So it gives you a lot of options.
That is true.
For 15 points. And that's why we like the Fire Prism so much. It gives you options. And I think Warwalkers, I would be not for Walkers if they were still BS3. Yeah. But now that all Eldar is BS4,
they've been practicing on the range.
Yeah, so like we're dying. We need to get better, guys. We're all veterans now. So Warwalkers, I think, if you're looking for a good anti-air, because fucking Crimson Hunters aren't going to cut it, guys, and they're just not going to do it. They're great if they cannot get intercepted. If you're playing against opponents that doesn't have interceptor, they're amazing because they get to reroll on the pin.
Yes.
So Crimson Hunters are amazing if they can survive.
Mathematically, they have the highest ability to take out other flyers on the Eldar Codex.
Yes.
They are that. The only thing I can come up with is basically fly them all the way to extreme angle on your side and then turn them towards the way you want to face them. And this would work on Hammer Anvil very well. Dawn of War deployment and Vanguard, not so much, but you might be able to find a good spot if the opponent castles on one side instead of hugging the middle of the board.
Yeah. So, I think we talked quite a lot.
Yeah, a little bit. We went way over time here. We said half an hour. It's almost an hour here.
Oh, whoops. But turn in for next week, where we're going to go and talk. I'm going to talk about Dark Eldar and some shenanigans you can do with them. And what do you want to talk about next week?
I'll answer any and all questions about whatever you want.
Yeah, so we're going to do a Google Hangout. It'll probably be later our time to make it morning for you guys. Right. So probably you don't mind coming over a little later.
Sure.
As long you're always on call.
Yeah, I'm always on call. But anyways, also new Apocalypse stuff should be coming out. So
yeah,
see what that's all about.
I might be not cheap and buy that on my iPad.
Yeah.
Depends though. Depends.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's no new stuff for Eldar, so I'm kind of pissed. There's no new stuff for Dark Eldar that I've seen.
Nothing for Sisters either.
Well, Sister's dying. Come on.
No, we not. Sister's got the AV-13 spam now. We have repressors. Get Forge World, AV-13 Rhinos. We can dominate them all.
Yeah, repressors are amazing because you can fire all units from it.
No. They changed it. So now it's like a Rhino. You get 2 turret hatches, but it's AV-13 in the front now. So you can just park them in a row and just march everybody up.
Oh, so it's like the old leaf blower list for a guard.
Except we don't really have the long-range firepower. But it's just a big armored wall of Sisters.
That seems we'll have to test that.
Right. But anyways.
But thanks for turning in, guys. I hope you appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions of what we can do or what I can do to make my videos better, and hopefully I'm actually leaving Japan in 2 weeks, so I'm going to try and post some videos of me and him playing. So some games. yeah, if you no one wanted to see any matchups, it's pretty much Dark Eldar and Eldar versus anything. He owns every army besides Eldar and Dark. No,
except Dark Eldar and Nids. And I'm actually thinking of Nids now.
Yeah. So just let us know, and we'll try to get a game in. But if you guys want to see a death match, or if you want to see my tournament list versus his
Fluffless of Doom.
Fluffless of Doom. Now he say this. No, one thing before we go. He's like, it's a fluffless. It's one of everything. But when you take one of everything, and it's the one of the best things in the Codex, come on, it's not that fluffy. But it's still a great list. Joe's a fun player to play against. If you ever have the opportunity to play against him, you should. So thank you again for watching. Tune in for next week, and we'll do a Google Hangout. And yeah, see you then.
All right, take care, guys. Bye.
Toodles.